It's supposed to be that time of the week when I do the world this week. But look at all that's happened in the last 7 days, completely dominated by that great test match at the Oval. And we've spoken at length about this. And so I thought I would focus this week on the one personality who, depending on which way you look at him, is either in the background or in your face, but someone I've got to know well over the years. And I thought I'd look at what Gautam Gambhir is doing. To understand Gautam Gambhir is to know his attitudes, his preferences. He is an absolute lover of the armed forces. I think in another avatar, he would have liked to be there himself. And I can almost imagine a young captain or a major leading a group of men trying to do the impossible, trying to go up the hill, recapture the hill against enemy forces. That would be a very Walter Mitty-esque look at Gautam Gambhir. But that is who he is. And that is why you can see Gautam Gambhir constantly talking about culture and about there being no room for the individual in a team. Because that is so army, that is so armed forces, that is something he so loves. He will not have individuals standing out. He'll want everybody to merge in, and that is his culture. Then you look at Gautam the cricketer. What do I remember Gautam Gambhir, the cricketer, as? Pretty, waded into situations, made the most of what his ability would allow him to, was an outstanding, genuinely world-class, among the best in the world at his prime, but someone who was at his best against the odds. That great innings in New Zealand that I thought defined him as an individual. That World Cup final. Now, remember, he's played a key part, but the credit's gone elsewhere. I'm not sure he's resentful of the credit going elsewhere, but I think he would have wanted it always to be India first. India, not an individual who did it. But again, I could be reading between the lines here. But that is Gautam Gambhir. And that is why he likes players like those. And you could see that attitude of never backing away in his confrontation with that groundsman. Now, maybe he shouldn't have gone a little overboard with the cuss words, but Gautam can be in the heat of battle, in a manner of speaking. In course of time, I'd like to see what kind of coach he evolves into. And I want to look at another coach that Gautam himself was very fond of. As a person, Gautam Gambhir could not be too different from Gary Kirsten. Gary Kirsten, very soft-spoken, very gentle, very polite, very in the background, never in your face. But Gautam told me that when Gary Kirsten came in, he was going through a little crisis of confidence because earlier coaches were trying to change his style of batting. Gary Kirsten came and said to him, "You've become very successful being one kind of player. Now let us improve the kind of player that you are. Because if you weren't good, you wouldn't come so far. So let's work on your strengths. Let's make you a better player." But Gary Kirsten was also the kind of player who took a long time to get to know people, understand what made them tick, and then came up with that for Gautam. I'd like to see Gautam adopt a similar style with the younger players and say, okay, what do you like the most? What are you most comfortable doing? And then let us see if we can make you better. And that is why I always think you must judge a coach, yes, to some extent by the results he's delivered, but not so much because he's never in the thick of it all. It's the captaincy and the players are out on the ground. But whether players became better under his tutelage, I think the answer to that is largely yes so far with Gautam Gambhir. And we're talking red ball now because we're just coming to the end of what happened in England. That Yashasvi Jaiswal came back, scored 100 and reversed a tour that was heading downhill, I think is a plus. Shubman Gill had his best series as a player, just rose and rose and rose as a person and player. Washington Sundar became a better and better player. And I thought KL Rahul had his best series ever. I don't know how much of that you can correlate directly back to the coach, but I think there is general association there. Under Gautam Gambhir, Prasidh Krishna is becoming a better player. Remember the last test match in Sydney towards the end of that tour. Took some time to get used again to English conditions, but was the forgotten hero of the win at the Oval. I mean, admittedly, we all talked about Siraj, I did as well. Prasidh Krishna got 8 wickets there too. So I think Prasidh is the other player who's growing under Gautam Gambhir. I think that's a good metric to judge people by. Going ahead, I'd like to see how Akash Deep grows. I'd like to see how Sai Sudarshan grows. And I'd like to see the relationship he forges with Jasprit Bumrah, because Bumrah's a very unique, rare talent, the best in the world at what he does, but has these limitations that are now growing on him on how much he can do. I've not mentioned Rishabh Pant because I don't think it matters to Pant with the coaches. He'd be the same person anyway, come what may. So these are going to be a couple of challenges, a couple of young players, one star player, but I think he's here to stay. There was a phase, I think, towards the end of the test match in Manchester. Look at the record up to then. India have lost 3-0 to New Zealand. That was a series to be forgotten. India have lost 3-1 to Australia, and India are down 2-1, about to go down 3-1. India lose that test in Manchester. Very, very difficult to come back at the Oval. It could well be 4-1. The whispers are starting to grow. Does India need a separate red ball coach? Should Gautam Gambhir only be a white ball coach where his record is extraordinary, second to none? Is there anything to suggest that Gautam Gambhir is a better white ball coach than a red ball coach? Well, the numbers are overwhelmingly saying so. Outstanding leader for the Kolkata Knight Riders, delivered them wins in 2012, 2014, went away to become Member of Parliament, then came back with the Lucknow Super Giants. I thought he had one of the best auctions that I've seen with Lucknow Super Giants, delivered them 2 playoff positions in their first 2 years, went back to KKR, delivered them a win against the odds in 24, and has been a very, very successful white ball coach for India. Even, I mean, remember, the most stunning win probably came in South Africa when the main players were not there. Gautam wasn't there as well, but goes and wins the Champions Trophy, where India just strolled through. Rarely has a team dominated a tournament as much as that. So yes, and I think Gautam Gambhir is very good at the tactical side of T20. He loves data. He loves that side of the game. He's got a great track record. So my suggestion to all of you, when you're looking at Gautam Gambhir, put aside what you see straight away, this big in-your-face guy who's always responding strongly, and look at the deeper qualities in Gautam Gambhir, and you understand him a lot better. To recap, hates the cult of the individual. It's always the team, wants to build that great culture, and loves to work with those kind of people around him. Look who is put together now around him. Morne Morkel, soft-spoken, below the radar. Ryan Tendushkar, lovely human being, just below the radar. Now you've got Sitanshu Kotak and Adrian LaRue, one of the great best trainers going around in world cricket, very quiet, under the radar. None of them is going to pop up and say, me. Gautam will not pop up and say me. So he's starting to build that culture and that group around. And you can see that he's comfortable with people around him. That happens all the time. You can see that with Surya Kumar Yadav as the T20 captain as well. It was way back 10 years ago when Surya Kumar Yadav had this reputation of being a slightly wild, effervescent, explosive kind of talent. He made him vice captain at KKR back in 2014-15 because he saw something in Surya Kumar Yadav. We are starting to see that in his captaincy here. So look at Gautam Gambhir from all that. You'll see a different picture. As you would imagine right through this, I've got time for Gautam Gambhir. I think we should all give him time as well.
So thank you for watching and do subscribe to this channel.